and who is watching streaming. It's Bref here, Bref with Clinic Roar. Excited to have you join us on the Thursday evening. Appreciate everybody making the time. I know that everybody's got a lot to do, but these ongoing education events and seminars that we do get great response and we get great feedback. So appreciate everybody being here. We're going to get started in just a moment. All right. Well, welcome to everybody who's joined, and we're going to get started. And today I'm really excited. We're going to be covering quite a few strategies. We're going to really be able to cover quite a lot within the hour, have some time for Q&A at the end as well. And today we're not just covering the 26 ways to get new patients in 2026. We're really going to be tying together a greater theme here. And what we're going to cover today is it's not just theory. It's really strategies that we see working inside practices right now. And the goal today is that you're going to be able to leave with a playbook. I always recommend if you have a pen and paper, it's really great to reinforce the information that we're going to be going through here. I've got Julian and my team who's going to be manning the chats. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat as well. So if you have questions as we go, feel free to ask. We'll take a couple of periodic breaks and we will have an opportunity to do the Q&A and answer questions that you have at the end as well. Okay. And so when it comes to tying everything together and what we're going to be covering, some of you here will be implementing this yourselves. Some of you are going to have a partner, for example. You may have a team, but either way, you're going to end up with clarity and end up with some very real strategies that you can implement. And before we really get into the tactics and into some of the items that I'm going to be sharing in just a minute, first of all, really want to talk a little bit about just how things have evolved and how the patient and the process of attracting patients to our practices has changed over the years as well. I'm going to do a quick pulse check here as we go. And number one, just make sure that everybody's got a good visual and a good audio. Maybe please give me a 7 in the chat if everything is sounding good. I want to make sure we got that before we go through much further. We got a 7. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay, great. So, really a quick bit about me. So Bref McHugh, CEO, founder of Clinic Roar, founded and started Clinic Roar back in 2017. And back then, we were primarily a Facebook ad agency. We did Twitter ads, Facebook ads, some Google ads, but Facebook ads were really taking off back then. And honestly, the Facebook ads worked exceptionally well. We started working very early with medical spas, plastic cosmetic surgeons through referrals and through relationships. And the ads, running ads on Meta back then, as it's called today, Meta, Facebook back then is very different. Back then, even just from a platform standpoint, Meta used to show an ad or Facebook used to show an ad roughly every 7 to 10 posts on your feed. So you could scroll down, read a lot of the organic content, and you get an ad. And the organic reach was very real. It was very different. And back in the day, leads were very cheap when we used to run ads. It was very much like instant results. The platform was newer, but we knew, as with anything, when something becomes good and a great advertising venue, a venue to get attention, there's more and more advertisers and marketers will go to the platform. And we saw changes. We saw that there was the platform was starting to evolve with more and more noise on the platform, and patients were no longer seeing just one ad. They weren't seeing your ad, for example. If you were advertising back in 2017, it wasn't, it was your ad, and then more competition came in, right? And there's still more competition coming in, but instead, they were seeing your ad, and then as time has gone, we've seen that they're Googling the practice after they see the ad. They're checking reviews. There's an element of recognition and awareness. Now they're doing some more research. Patients they're watching YouTube. They're going to ChatGPT or Gemini. They're comparing multiple practices, and then maybe they're booking. There's different levels and layers of consideration. And so, we realized, as we grew the business and as we worked with at this stage, over 1,000 medical and aesthetic professionals, we realized that Facebook ads weren't the only strategy, that they were just one piece. And today they're just really one piece of the trust journey, essentially, the new patient journey. And one thing that I really want to cover today and to leave you all with is, yes, we will talk about Facebook ads, and yes, they do work, and yes, they can be very important. But the insights that we've got from growing Clinical over the years and growing our clients' businesses are that it's changed. It's really a trust journey with the patients. I've traveled from coast to coast. I've been at the front desks. I've been in the treatment rooms. I've been in the operating rooms, and I've watched what's happened between the ad and the booked appointment with patients coming into the practice. And over the years, the pattern was impossible to ignore. So we evolved as an agency to meet the patient where they were, to add more services to what we were providing for clients. And in 2026, there's really a broad depth and an integrated approach that we take for our clients in order to help them to educate and attract new patients into their practice. And it's all about building trust at every touch point along that new patient journey. And so that's really what marketing is supposed to do. It's an opportunity to build those trust points, to build the brand, to get patients to know, like, and trust you and your practice so that you can be the number one choice in their mind. And that brings us to what the new patient journey looks like in 2026. And so going to share a little bit here. And as I like to say to clients and to friends as well, if you get to know me, that I really like to walk and talk. And so we're going to do just that. We're going to share a little bit here as we move through 2026, what that new patient journey looks like, and 26 ways to get more patients in 2026. And so if you're able to see the screen here, please just give me a 7 in the chat here. I want to make sure that you can get the visual here as well. All right, great. Okay, perfect. So when it comes to the shift within the new patient journey, there's a number of different ways in which patients are made aware and they're influenced by advertising. And so the things that I just mentioned, Google, for example, with organic, AI, for example, AI searches, social media, yes, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, but also reviews on Google, that Google business profile, and referrals. These are major forces. There's more and more ways. There's still television, there's billboards, there's so many ways in which patients are influenced. And when you're growing your medical and aesthetics practice in 2026, it's really important to understand what that shift looks like. And so for the new patient journey, just as we go through this journey together over the next 45 minutes, I just want you to understand that all of these components can be tied together. You're probably going to be doing some of these things, and you just want to understand how to do them to the best of the ability to win those trust points with patients, and how to integrate all the different ways in which you can attract new patients so that you can be seen and be found, increase your visibility, convert more patients, and attract patients into your practice. And so when we look at the kind of the framework, there's really three main pillars, three major forces that are shaping the new patient journey in 2026 and moving forward. And with visibility, one thing that's changed over the last year, the last 18 months, has been the AI searches and using patients, people using more platforms, for example, like ChatGPT, Google AI Overview, for example. And your business, you or competitors, you're getting discovered in many different ways. And so from these AI powered searches, patients are now sometimes not necessarily even going to your website. They're clicking through from the initial search results within Gemini or Perplexity or Claude or their AI weapon of choice, essentially. And so we want to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to break our framework down into some of these main pillars of visibility, conversion, and automation. Okay. And as we take a look a little bit further here, the framework of visibility, for example, being discovered, you want to make sure that when patients are searching, and they're looking to fulfill their demand, we call it demand fulfillment, that your business, your practice is showing up there, that you've got visibility in the right place when patients are searching for best med spa near me, or who should I consider for Botox treatment in your city, for example, or just moved to Tampa. What's the best med spa I should go to? Those types of searches. We're going to talk a little bit about that. From the conversion standpoint, it's turning that visibility into booked consults. So when you're showing up, that's great. But now you've got to have really good information there. You've got to have certain components that we're going to break down, okay? Websites, we'll talk about ads, we'll talk about authoritative content, and also automation. We can't talk about AI without breaking down automation and how these systems can combine together in order to capture and to nurture leads and make sure that there's no people or there's no leads really slipping through the cracks. And so examples of automation that we'll get into would be chat automation, voice AI, for example, SMS, email sequences, database reactivation, and combining each of these into a systematic approach so that you can stay with that patient and help them to guide them to your practice as the best choice along that new patient journey that's been evolving and it continues to evolve in 2026. So we're going to get started and really get into some of these strategies here, some of the components of the framework. And so as we do the visibility strategies, we're going to start off by looking how we can master and how you can master your digital presence in 2026. And so really still at the cornerstone, the foundation is having a high converting website, a website that really acts as your digital front desk. It's there 24/7 when patients are searching. It's one of the main components that feeds into the AI chat engines, if you will, into some things that we'll cover in just a few moments. So you want to ensure, of course, as always, your website is mobile optimized, that you have a good website. I still speak to practices every week that maybe they had a initial website back in 2019 or 2022 or 2023, but needs to be updated, needs to be maintained, needs to be error-free, and needs to provide some really good content so that the search engines and the AI searches can pick up your business. So I'll always ask, and we do this during our 2026 growth plan, for example, when we're going through the marketing plan with our clients and doing webinars, is maybe take a moment just to rate your website or take a note. How is your website? If you need to get a look on your website or a website audit, you can reach out to us. You can visit clinicgrower.com/schedule. We do that as part of the complimentary audits that we do for businesses when we're looking to see if we can help you to grow your practice. Okay. Now, local SEO domination. So as we started to get our clients ranked within ChatGPT searches, Gemini searches, the AI snippets, and those sorts of things, we and a lot of agencies too, there wasn't necessarily a playbook. It was happening. Then we had to reverse engineer. Okay, what have we been doing to get our practices visible within these searches? And what we found is that there's a number of key components really. Google Maps presence is key. So that local SEO component of being present in the maps, ranking high in the maps, being in that map pack, the top three. That's where your review generation is really important. Making sure that everything is in alignment, the name, the address, the phone number, and also using hyperlocal targeted keywords in order to rank locally. It also ties into when those patients are looking even within ChatGPT for, it's typically going to be a similar search what they're doing in the search engine with looking for the solution in the city, for the best service in the city and local related searches. So you want to make sure to optimize your Google business profile, make sure that you have really good photographs, that it's a really great first impression when patients visit that Google business profile, because they're looking to make a decision. They're going to click on yours or someone else's. Make sure that you have everything in alignment there. And also the service pages. So I'll see when auditing websites that there's a tendency to have an initial amount of services that are put on websites, but again, they're not all the time optimized. And so creating a dedicated, really a keyword rich and a good user experience on the service pages, ideally with some video with your personality in the form of photographs and things about the practice, tying in the unique aspects of your business with the benefits of that service and treatment. And as we've provided the tips here, including some of the technical items here, the schema markup for medical procedures to really enhance that search visibility. On the kind of new phenomenon when it comes to how people are finding practices, you may have heard of AEO and GEO. There's some new acronyms when it comes to SEO, which of course is search engine optimization. And so in 2025, really, and now in 2026, AEO, answer engine optimization, is a really important part of that overall visibility and building the trust with new patients. And what that means is that it's about having good structured content to appear in those featured snippets. If you go to Google, for example, and you search for best plastic surgeon in Tampa, or who are the top medical spas in Knoxville, for example, what you're going to see is that the snippets will start providing some answers. Also, when it comes to like how-to questions or how long does Botox last? What is the difference with Botox and fillers? Those types of things. Is vein treatment painful? These types of questions need to be answered. And so the content on going back again to your website and that Google business profile, having those questions answered is a really important part to get featured within the search engines, within the snippets, for example, and within the AI search engines. So you want to make sure that number one, that you have that FAQ page on your website and it's answering those top questions, those top 10, 15, 20 questions that patients have. And the more questions that you can answer on your website and on your Google business profile means that you're going to get the visibility when patients are searching for those questions. Let me know if that makes sense. If there's any questions, we go here. Julie and I will keep an eye on the chat. So AEO, kind of newer phenomenon here in 2025 and 2026. So when it comes to the visibility strategies and really mastering your digital presence, there's also the other acronym that we spoke about, which is GEO or GEO. And so where AEO, answer engine optimization, is for Google, GEO is more for ChatGPT and for the some of the other LLMs, Perplexity, for example, and the Google AI overview. So when a patient, for example, would ask ChatGPT, who is the best medical aesthetics practice, who's the best aesthetic center, who's the best vein clinic near me, you want to be in that answer. And that's where the LLMs are going to generate the answer. They're going to build authoritative content, or really, they're going to base the answer off the authoritative content that has been built on the website. They're going to generate that answer based off the information they're able to scan. And that's back down to, again, the website. It's back down to the Google business profile, the backlinks, the brand mentions, the social media profiles. So again, it's a long game. It's combining all of those, if you will, traditional search engine optimization components. So continuing to build the reviews, continuing to build the content on the website, on that Google business profile, really good content that is unique and expert authority is going to get the visibility within the generative engines as well. And so just ensure that we're publishing information. A pro tip here would be to publish a comprehensive guide, for example, like we do for some of our clients, publishing an ebook, which again answers some of those questions and educates patients and really positions you as an authoritative person, an authoritative expert within the space as well. Reputation management it's not anything new, and I'm sure you've heard about it before. What reputation management really involves is it's reviews, and it's really it's kind of the trust currency, ensuring that you have really good reviews coming through, which of course is going to represent you as a business. When you're getting reviews coming through and good reviews, those are obviously signals to Google and to the search engines and on the internet that people are coming into your business. So your business it's successful, it's thriving. And then the reviews that are being left are indicators as to the quality of the services that you provide. And so ways in which you can harness the power of reviews and reputation marketing is going to be leveraging automation in order to automate review requests. Also training your team to, on that patient checkout, when they've had that outcome, when they're at the counter with that smile on your face and you're engaging with them, or you've got that rapport, is asking the patients for reviews and really triggering it based off positive interaction. So we'll talk more about automation, but I always recommend leveraging text message, to do a little delay once that patient, if they haven't done the review on the checkout, then to delay a little bit once they're back at the house and to send some reminders and send them the link directly to that review. And Google reviews still, that 800-pound gorilla, they really still carry the majority of the weight when it comes to the benefit that you can get from building trust and from the increased visibility. So YouTube is one of the largest, still one of the largest search engines when people are searching for information. The YouTube discovery aspect, it enables patients to research procedures and to find how-to videos and to find educational content before they even call. I'm sure that you've done it before as well, whether it's to fix a garden fence or unplug a sink, whatever that is. There's videos there that enable you to do it before you need to call a plumber or to call a fence company. And patients are doing this as well, trying to understand how they can remedy the problems that they have, sometimes looking for home solutions. And so being discovered within those searches enables you to position yourself and to educate patients at a time that they're looking for education. So the opportunity here is to do procedural walkthroughs, to do FAQ videos, doctor introductions, sharing before and afters, and really building that trust with the patient as an authority and as an educator before they've even come into the practice, before they've potentially even visited your website. And so what we'll always recommend is to pin a booking link and to strategically put information as to how patients can reach out to your practice within the comments of the video and within the descriptions of the videos that you can provide during the course of building out that content on YouTube as well. Now, short form video is something that we also discussed a lot during our annual marketing plan webinar that we did. And this is where we're talking about Reels, it's talking, TikTok, Shorts, organic reach. If you own a specifically a medical aesthetics practice, a med spa, a cosmetic surgery practice, a vein center, then you know that organic reach still exists. And it's so important when patients are looking for that outcome and they're seeing the before and after, they're seeing and hearing the testimonial from the patient, for example, or they're seeing that 30 to 60-second educational video and the clips about the patient journey, about the results. And the value of having those reels and those short form videos means that you can post them 2 or 3 or ideally 3 or to 5 times a week, and then leverage the reach that the platforms can provide. And the platforms love video because they know that consumers want to consume video, especially if it's educational and it's getting engagement and it's getting those shares. The algorithms pick that up. And again, this is all building trust factors really just by sharing what you do, by using your phone. It doesn't have to be like a high gloss video shoot for these types of pieces of content. In fact, it's really better if it is organic and it's someone in your office that's taking that video. And we provide frameworks to our clients so that they don't have to fret about it. They don't have to, think or figure out what to do. It's really provided on a platter so far as to what sort of content works and what type of information patients are looking for so that you can just go ahead and record it and shoot it. So short form video, social content as well. So organic social, again, going back to Facebook, but really leveraging your channel, your Facebook page. The content that you're creating on the short is posted, of course, within Facebook, Meta, sharing it across those platforms so that patients who found you, they're able to check and see really like, what's happening at the practice from a social level, what the community aspect looks like. And as we all know, some people prefer Instagram, some people prefer Facebook, younger demographic and actually, growing older demographic as well, increasing age demographic are on TikTok. So just ensuring that you're leveraging organic and, giving patients the opportunity to follow you before they book. And as you're growing the followers, ensuring that you really are just posting that organic content, imagery, video, making the social connection with patients. And once you're doing that, it's increasing visibility, and the search engines are picking that up. The AI search is picking it up. But the big thing is that you're enabled to get the attention of patients that are looking for the type of services that you offer. Now, as we get into some more of the components here, we're going to shift gears now because we're getting towards conversion strategies. And this can be kind of the the piece that a lot of practices look for, which is the paid ads, the acceleration. What we've covered to this point, there's so much foundational elements that you can't overlook and you shouldn't overlook. There's so many things that you can do effectively there that are so important. When we add the paid ad strategies, that traffic, it's like putting fuel on the fire. And so you got to be careful to make sure you have the foundations in place. So we're looking at different ad platforms here, but so important is to ensure that you've got the tracking in place, that you've got a really good strategy as far as what type of ads you're going to do. For Google ads, for example. So that's where you're going to be capturing the bottom of funnel audience they've got high intent. They're searching for specific services or for specific practice, for example. Sometimes competitors to you may try and do a conquest advertising and compete for your brand. When someone searches for ABC Medical, the competitor's ad can pop up. So you got to be aware of those things. Or for the basic searches, service near me, or for treatment in city, for example. Now, when we're doing Google ads, and just an example would be, breast augmentation near me, or rhinoplasty surgeon near me, Botox specials, using ad extensions in order to provide calls to action, booking links, call buttons, reviews, highlighting all of those trust elements so that, again, you're able to get that patient to increase the value and the amount of trust points they've generated for your business. And these are people that are searching right now. So that's typically that in the average in any given market, there's about 3% that are ready to buy. So we want to ensure that we're able to fulfill the demand that's being generated. And we can use those Google ads to get to the top of the pack for certain searches that perhaps you're not ranking for or you're not visible for within the other search engines. Plus, of course, it's another channel and it's another opportunity to generate patients. So meta ads, we spoke about at the top of the presentation here and top of the session today. And they've changed. Meta ads have changed, as we spoke about a little bit earlier. You used to be able to put a Facebook ad in front of someone, less competition. You generate a lead for very, very cheap back in 2017. Leads would come through, and so it was very, very cheap cost per acquisition. As more and more people have come in, if you think about elections in the past, presidents have been dumping money, auto dealers, there's so much more competition now. There's also more ads, where it was between 7 and 10 posts that would rotate before your ad would show. Now there's an ad showing about every 3 posts. So there's a lot more noise, and consumers are exposed to more competitive ads. Your competitor, for example, maybe you've seen our ad, for example, and another agency ad as well. That's how the algorithm works. And so, of course, Facebook are getting paid, but we want to ensure that you're getting your value from these platforms as well. So Meta and Instagram are great platforms still when it comes to generating leads. You've got to have a really good strategy. The strategy has changed a lot over the years. There's a need to really to educate patients on the platform, to build your brand. So leveraging video, using calls to action, generating those leads. And when leads are generated, we'll talk a little bit more, ensuring that there's very, very quick speed to lead within those platforms. Okay. Now, the ad I've seen is rarely the problem. It's usually the follow-up that can be the issue. But we do need to ensure that you're not just using stock imagery, not just using just a discount, that you're writing really good ad copy, getting to the psyche of the patient, really meeting them on their terms. When we do ads for our clients and through our onboarding, interview our clients, and if you're doing them for yourself, what you want to do is really just understand your ideal patient avatar, understand their pain points, understand what the outcome is they're looking for, and create multiple variations of ad copy that reach that patient at different parts of their journey. There's different people that want different treatments for different reasons. And so we've really got to, think and put together a good strategy, and meta ads work extremely well to do that. YouTube ads as well. YouTube has become, again, it's a search engine. It's like television was back in the day for anybody who used to do television ads. Again, it's underutilized by a lot of practices. Great opportunity, even just from a retargeting standpoint, to be able to reach patients who visited your website, to be able to put the ads on YouTube and also within streaming television, which you can do through that platform as well. Speaking of retargeting, omnipresent retargeting, number 13 here. This is one of the highest return on investment strategies for most practices, and it's still a missed opportunity. So what you need to do is make sure you've got the tracking pixels on your website. We set these up for our clients, and when a patient visits your website or one of the platforms, your landing pages, whether it's a patient that came from Google or from a search or referral, make sure that you're retargeting them so that you can do that very cheaply and effectively, and again continue to educate and build your brand in front of that patient. This keeps you top of mind during the consideration phase, and also ensuring that when that patient is ready to reach out, when they're ready to buy or come into the practice or come into a practice, that you're top of the deck for that patient's decision. So the return on investment from ads is very important as well. And the ROI reality is that it depends on the strategy. It depends on your reputation a lot of the time. When a patient clicks on an ad, they're usually, again, going to check out your reviews, to check out your social media. And so it's never granted that once they've clicked on your ad and you've got their lead, that's it. There's still a lot of work to be done, which is why the 26 different strategies that we're discussing here are so important to have an integrated marketing approach. Now, one of the biggest opportunities that we've been leveraging for our clients recently has been to do a little bit longer form content. And what we're talking about here is really to build conversion strategies and leveraging authority. So authority building trust assets. And this is where there's an opportunity to talk a little bit longer in front of the camera. For a lot of us here and some of the attendees and our clients, you're a key opinion leader. You're a thought leader. You've done presentations, for example. You've educated crowds. You've educated your peers. You've done events. You've invited patients into events, and you've spoken to them. The opportunity to do educational webinars and to host live patient education events is a great opportunity right now. You can leverage the platforms that we've just discussed, and it works so well. Doing between a 7 to 27 minute or sometimes longer, depending on the treatment or the procedures that you're educating patients on. And this is an opportunity for patients to learn from you. It really is a great opportunity to build trust as patients sit down and consume that content. And as you'll appreciate, an educated patient is the best patient, as someone who's sitting down and listening to you for an extended amount of time and really absorbing what you're saying and staying there voluntarily to consume the content is going to be a really great prospect. And the opportunity from these educational seminars and webinars as well is to repurpose that content. So you can use it on your social media feed. There's tools that you can use, like Get Munch, for example. There's numerous different tools, Descript, for example, where you can munch up that content, cut that content, and then distribute it on your social media platforms. And that's something that we do for our clients as well. It works really good in ads. You can test that content, the shorts from that content in your advertising also. PR, press releases, and authoritative content. So for anyone who's been in a press release, we know that it's an awesome opportunity to build awareness and to highlight something important that's going on, especially in that local community, whether it's an event that you've had or a certification or something that's newsworthy. Those press releases really help with your search engine optimization, building trust points online that gets you ranked within the AI searches, of course, as well. Things like podcast appearances and media placements, published articles, for example, white papers, or being quoted at an event, and leveraging that content in order to build that authority and build that trust with patients. Other trust assets we touched a little bit on, but ensuring you've got a strategy in place to get testimonials from clients. Not every practice does, but it's so important to have a framework so that you can ask a patient, hey, how was your treatment today? Awesome, great. It would mean the world to us if you could leave us a testimonial. Would you mind doing that? And for a lot of practices, just having the video ready to get that video review, that video testimonial, and that Google review, that really goes so long and so far as to building trust and leveraging that to build more trust and attract more patients. And these things can also be used to interview patients and ask them what they were feeling before their treatment, how they're feeling after it, to overcome objections and to really communicate and build trust with patients that are considering your services as well. So with conversion strategies and with the paid ad strategies and the foundational strategies that we've just been discussing, now we're getting a little bit closer to automation. So when it comes to conversion, the first practice to get in touch or to speak with that patient, to respond to them, often wins. We found that the speed to lead within 5 minutes, when you're able to connect to that patient within 5 minutes, it increases the chances of converting that patient by close to 300%. And so online scheduling obviously is a great opportunity. More and more practices are doing it. We really work closely with our practices to ensure they have online scheduling, gives the patient the opportunity to select what time they want so they can book when they're ready. Obviously, I think that speaks for itself. Make sure you've got your online scheduling set up, but then also chat and AI assistants. This is where setting up chatbots to answer questions, to answer FAQs, but also to really engage with patients. It doesn't have to be the dot 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 where the patient knows it's just a chatbot. There's opportunities to get the contact details for that patient and to have a really good nurturing sequence in place so that you can really book consults through the lead that came in from a patient who might be visiting after hours a lot of the time, we find as well. Voice AI systems are a newer phenomenon as well over the last couple of years. They've got much better beginning of this year, towards the end of last year. In fact, at Clinical just launched our voice AI because we too have been testing it for a while. We've invested a lot of funds and a lot of resources in order to use voice AI, not to replace our human agents, our appointment booking concierge team, but to really amplify the results from what the team is doing. And the voice AI it's so good. It's been trained by myself, by our team, in order to really to provide that therapeutic experience to the patient, to leverage great customer service skills, to sound fantastic, and really importantly, to educate the patient, to build rapport. Our Kate is our voice AI, and she's got a really great personality. She'll book the appointment with you. And one of the major benefits is that the speed to lead within 60 seconds is so powerful to connect with those patients. We're able to hand over a warm transfer when the patient needs that, but really it just provides that speed to lead and to be able to complement what our human team is doing as well. So really that 24/7 ability and making sure that no lead gets leaked ever again. Call tracking is something that is knowing where your calls come from. You've got to understand. So if you don't know where the calls are generated from, you're really flying blind. You're unable to optimize for that. So leveraging call tracking, and again, not every practice has this. Make sure that you got those tracking numbers set up so that you can understand where patients are coming from. You can also audit the calls, leverage AI to do call auditing so that you can understand what patients are looking for. These tools are so helpful because from the call tracking and leveraging AI, it helps to create more content, understanding what's happening on those calls, also understanding what objections patients have, and in many cases, to do quality assurance on your team that's answering calls as well, so that you can coach them and you can help them to improve and to convert more patients and really, again, build a trust factor by having a better overall patient experience. So, big pro tip here would be to ensure that there's at least some form of automation setup, that the online scheduling is in place, and that you're leveraging a form of tracking to make sure that no leads get left behind. And that speed to lead is so important. When it comes to that nurture and that speed to lead, so there's a number of different ways in which patients reach out through phone calls, but also email. Email is still very much alive, and email provides a great opportunity to nurture patients longer term, to educate them in written form. And so most leads won't book on that first contact. It takes an average of 7 to 11 times currently, and I'm sure that's just going to keep increasing as it has over the years. But most leads, when they come to a website, they'll fill in a form and they're looking for information. They may call immediately, but the email nurture provides that opportunity to close the gap, to educate patients, to inspire them more and more, and get in that inbox in order to nurture them and build your authority so that you can invite them to book their appointment. SMS follow-up, as we were discussing, it's the preferred method of communication for most people today, SMS. They can get that message across when they have a chance in between the many, many things that people are doing in the busy, busy lives that we live today. So with a 98% open rates versus about a 20% open rate for email, SMS is a really important weapon in your arsenal when you're communicating with new patients. So it also provides the opportunity to do appointment reminders and to text people back if a call was missed, and to ensure that we're meeting people and communicating with them in a method that they want to be communicated with. Database reactivation is a great way to re-engage, to convert patients, but also to continue to integrate all of the different components that we just mentioned: special offers, ideal patient avatars, understanding what patients need. And it's an opportunity to win back patients that perhaps haven't been in for a while, didn't convert. You've already, if it's a database reactivation, you've already paid for that lead. So it's one of the lowest lying fruits in order to convert patients and to grow your business. The leads are already in your CRM or your EMR. So running a win back campaign, a special offer, getting more Google reviews, you've already paid to acquire them. So just ensure that you're activating them and it is a constant form of contact with these new patients. Combining these types of strategies, by the way, SMS, email, we have tools. Our tool is called Growth Express in order to do that. A lot of different tools out there that you can use. Go high level. There's Keep, a lot of different platforms, but ensuring you have an automation platform to help you to do the heavy lifting there is going to be really important. Number 24 on our list, as we get closer to really combining and wrapping up the integrated marketing approach that we're talking about here. Number 24 is so important, and this stands out for 5-star practices: running live patient events. The power of community and the power of engagement and bringing people together into a room, into a setting, at a time where people are more and more starved of social interaction, where we're stuck behind screens, we're leading busy lives, we're maybe waving at our neighbors across the street before we get our kids into school. But having a community and meeting people in person is one of the most impactful levers that you can pull in your practice. And you can use all these digital components that we've been discussing to build the trust, to get patients to know, like, and trust you, and to educate and inspire and attract new patients. But leveraging an event, hosting exclusive events, community workshops, special events that are sponsored by your vendors, providing products, for example, great opportunity to build relationships. And those events, of course, being promoted online. We love to do this for our clients, and we can really flood our practices. We just had one of our practices that had over 100 people register and 60 people come in. And that was a promotion that was done in the course of 3 weeks. Great way to do it. Once a quarter, 2 or 3 times a year. Awesome opportunity, and people really love it as well. We help practices a lot with membership programs. Membership programs are a win-win situation, of course. It's that predictable recurring revenue for your business. There's an opportunity to either launch, or what we find is that a lot of practices will say, I have a membership, but then they don't have any members. And so the opportunity really is to create a membership that is compelling, that really stands out, that is a seductive membership where it's attractive to the patients. And it also provides the opportunity for those patients to win as well, to have that benefit of coming back in, to have it scheduled, to have their treatment plan scheduled in advance, and be a member of the awesome community that you're growing at your practice as well. And so members often refer more as well. They churn less. You're able to retain them for longer, of course, and they spend more per visit. So if you haven't got a membership program, then I would implore you to do one, to put it together. If you're looking to grow your practice and to integrate these approaches, and if building a membership program is part of that mix, then if you schedule a call with us, we'll help you to do that as well. That's part of the added value that we provide to our clients when we're combining and integrating these marketing approaches for them. And finally, referral programs. So a little bit different from a membership program, but happy patients are your most powerful marketing lever. That word of mouth. Reviews are awesome. Patients that are referring, the patients that pay, stay, and refer, as we say, you want to make it effortless for the patient to refer. So having a program in place, something that's formal, a system that provides maybe VIP benefits, for example, recognition, the opportunity for the person who's referring to get something nice, to get a discount or additional service when they refer a new patient who gets a bonus or gets something special for coming in too. It's part of just the cost per acquisition. So we'll speak to practices that they don't want to do a discount, but it's not a discount, it's an incentive. It's an incentive to get a patient in that wasn't going to do anything until the light went off. They were incentivized. You flick that switch in their mind. A lot of time it can be doing something nice. We all know how incentives work. So incentivize those new patients, incentivize your existing patients, and start that referral program. And if you want any help getting that done, then reach out. We'd be happy to do that. And I'm also happy to help you to combine these types of strategies so that you can attract more patients and get patients into your practice. As we take a look and reflect a little bit on the 26 ways in which to get new patients in 2026, I just want to get a pulse on the chat here and see about how many of these strategies are you doing. If you can drop a number in here, if it's 26, if it's 13, if it's 7, approximately how many, half, for example, of these types of strategies that you're implementing. And what I want to do next is I want to just look at the options that you have and give you the opportunity to connect with us here at Clinic Grower as well. So kind of when it comes to the decisions that you can make, use the content here. Use everything that we've been providing and that I've been articulating on the call here today. Take it, work with your partner, work with your team, work with your agency, for example, to fill in the gaps that you have. And so what you don't want to do is to just set this and forget it. Okay, please do take action, even if it's just those top 3 or top 5 items that you know that you've got gaps within your practice. Take action. With Clinic Grower, we integrate all these 26 strategies into our compound growth engine for our practices. We combine them. We do this with our done-for-you marketing services. If there's some of these services that you want help with, if there's gaps in your plan, feel free to reach out. You can visit clinicgrower.com/schedule. We'll be happy to speak with you. It's a no pressure conversation where we can understand more about your business and what you're looking to do. And when you do that, we'll be able to also provide you with a complimentary growth plan. We'll create a custom plan for you. Could combine everything, could be that fully integrated growth marketing engine, or perhaps there's just certain gaps in your plan that we can understand and create a plan that provides some of the services here or solutions that you need with specific gaps in your business. And we understand that by having an initial call, going to bat, doing some research and putting together a custom plan for you. And if you've been on the webinar here today, then we'd love the opportunity to do that for you too. So again, what you can do is you can visit clinicgrower.com/schedule. You can schedule that free strategy session, and myself and my team will be delighted to help you and to speak with you. And so hopefully you've enjoyed and got some really good insights and some ideas here relative to what you can do when it comes to growing your practice in 2026 and beyond. And if there's any questions here, I'd love to be able to answer them. Again, you don't have to do it all at once, but just having the plan, having the understanding as to what's needed to be done to build those trust points, to get more and more patients to know, like, and trust you, and to be showing up in places in which patients are looking. And if any advice would be not to just rely on one channel. Don't rely on just one thing anymore. It's really having that diverse approach so that you can have a comprehensive and integrated marketing plan to reach patients, to build out awareness, and to convert them and to win more patients into your practice. Thank you all for staying for the webinar this evening. It's been the 26 ways to get new patients in 2026. If there's any questions, we'll keep an eye on the chat here. Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions, and so we're going to wrap it up a little bit shorter than we had budgeted. That's great. So we've got a little under an hour. Appreciate everybody for being here. Go forth and conquer. It's almost the end of first quarter. Go crush it. And if you need any help, please do reach out. clinicgrower.com/schedule. We'll be happy to speak with you and happy to help you. That's it for now. All the best. See you soon.